feet grounded, toes lifted and spread, feeling that position, maybe just lean forward a little bit back, a little bit left, a little bit right, just finding that center through the soles of the feet, lengthening through the spine, and for most of us, remembering to soften the lower ribs a little bit into the body, shoulders open. So how this one goes is you inhale your right arm out and back, and you exhale your left arm out and back. So that's half a breath. Then you inhale both arms up and exhale both arms down. And then you go again. Inhale the right arm, pause, exhale the left arm. And this time both arms go out to the side. Inhalation, they open together. And exhalation, they come back. So we're back to the beginning. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale. And exhale. Both at the same time. And exhale back. So continuing through your own rhythm. If you want to change the order of which arm you take out first, that's fine. Exhale. And then when both arms go up, it's an inhalation and exhale. Half the breath inhaling. The other half exhaling. Inhaling both together. And exhale back. So continuing in your own time, if you want to change which arm you take out, I think that's an all right thing. One more round. And pausing at the end of that one, just seeing what you notice, checking in with what sensations are present in the physical body, not judging, just being curious and open. Locations, sensations, awareness of any thoughts on one's mind, the physical and mental energy today. And any emotions that might be present, and neutral something too. We'll do a little Traeger kick where you just in a very relaxed way, change weight, kick the foot. Yeah, some people are adding a little arms as well, and just being kind of nice and loose and relaxed, not too loose. That's it. Just letting a little vibration go through. All right, and we'll do this one for the head neck area. So again, setting the feet, lift the toes, spread the toes, lengthen them back down. Feel that connection to ground, which is a ground force reaction that you can lengthen away from, just gently softening the head back. And then let's do this other one where you inhale the left arm up. And as you exhale, you turn your head to right and your hand comes down. Then your head faces front. Inhale the right arm up. As you exhale, head turns left, arm floats down. I'll talk it through one more time. Inhale, one arm up. Feel that side of the body. Exhale, turn head in opposition to the hand floating down. A little nerve stretch on the neck area. Inhale the next arm up. You'll feel like lengthen that side of the body as you turn in opposition to the straight arm. And then head finds center. So let's do it a couple more times each side. And again, just feeling that sensation of breathing into one side of the body and then the other is a nice sensation, the lengthening of the fascia of the side body. Relax in the facial muscles, smile if you wish. Taking in your space, multi-directional awareness. And when you've completed your sides, then we'll just do a little bit of shoulder rolling. Sometimes forward is easy. And then I always like to finish off with rolling back. I think we'll come through and do our floor work next. You're mobilizing, but you're not really stretching if you've hurt your low back. Even just the weight of the head will give you some stretch through that whole back body. So that goes for everyone. Just finding the range that feels useful, helpful. Not too much, just right. Connect with the breath. And actually what can be quite nice is for a change is to inhale as you curve the breath. So that will kind of massage and fill into the back body, and exhale as you come into the arch or extension of the spine. So inhaling into the back, and even just that inhale without too much movement will give you some kind of stretch. And then finding your own sense of neutral, where there's a little bit of a curve in the small of the back, the ribs are a little gathered, you pressing the floor away. And then the side to side one, Eeyore searching for his tail. So a little expansion on one side, contraction on the other side. So again, if you have that little bit of an injury in the low back, again, not getting into feeling that you have to stretch it out. It's vulnerable. So just be kind to it. You can move it, but don't strain it. And then finding your neutral position again. And just before we do our little strength work to give our wrist a little bit of a rest in between, this one is where you come back. And again, if you have a back injury, don't curl your back. See if you can keep it like you're a tabletop with a slight bow in the middle there, but not a collapse, that you're just hinging back to and fro. So to and fro, that's it, yeah. And it might be if you're vulnerable with your back, don't go back too far. Just come to that place where your spine is still fairly in its natural length and curves. Connect with the breath. matching your movement. And then we'll come to our all fours. So our least intrusive one in terms of back here is to, I'll just tuck this in a little bit, is to again find that neutral position, shoulders back, belly slightly engaged from hip bone to hip bone or from pubic bone towards the navel, and you're holding the midline long through the back of the neck. And this is our pointed dog. Palm can face the midline. And you're minimizing the shift from side to side. And if you have this slight curve in the small of the back, not too much, just right, that will help the small muscles of the key muscles close to the spine to help them strengthen and support that low back area. We'll work all the other ones too. And you should feel a little bit of going on in your core, keeping your belly a little bit engaged. So minimizing the shift from side to side. Take care that the elbows aren't overlocked, and about 10 times each side. And I might just come and look at my team that's here. Good to see you all. Looking good there, Susie. That's it. This is probably a good non-invasive one, Carol, for your back there. Shouldn't be any pain, but you should feel like you're awakening your core, which is always a good thing when the back's a little vulnerable. Spine shape looks good, what I can see of you there, Juliet. And there's no shift from side to side, so I'm assuming you're holding your core nicely. Maybe we'll try a little bit on our fronts today before we go on our back, because a little bit of extension for your back might be not a bad thing. So if you're a little bit bigger chested particularly, or you tend to have a big curve in the small of the back, then having a blanket folded from just below the bust, those of us who have a bust, to just to the hip crease will help this part stay lengthened out, so that when we do a little old-fashioned one here, we're going to do this little one where we're extending one leg and then the opposite one, but we're wanting to keep the ribs into the body. And you could just do leg, that's also too. So you're trying not to shorten the small of the back, keeping it long. So I'm slightly lengthening my tailbone down. I'm slightly drawing my ribs into my body. And we could all just start off with the leg a little bit. Rest the head and just lift the leg just fractionally off the ground. Just feel the buttock, the back of the leg work. Think of length. If your foot cramps, you can tuck your toes under. And just think about extending one leg a little bit and then the other one. That would be another way of making it a little easier. If it feels all right, you can try taking the arms forward if your shoulders are willing. And again, I've got my palms facing each other and head looking towards the floor, and then one arm and the opposite leg. And maybe holding a little bit, keeping that middle body contained, just feeling like I'm just gently strengthening the back body. That's it. So you could just do legs, do arms and legs. Nice. And then before we come on to our back, we may as well do a little bit of our upper back one. We could do a supported one to begin with, where I still quite like my hands out a little bit, and then just slightly coming into extension with the upper body, shoulders down, tailbone down, ribs in. Hold for a little bit, come back down. So lengthening the legs away, drawing the ribs into the body, just elevating that upper body a little bit, shoulder blades engaged. Be a little bit of firmness in the low back, but not pain. And we'll do one Salambasana, traditional one, which I like to do with the elbows bent like a locust. So this one is rolling the shoulders, and again, not necessarily even having to lift off the ground hardly, just engaging the shoulder blades. You don't have to go far. In fact, you can just think about those feet just lengthening away on the ground. Hold for as long as is viable for you. Have a rest in between. Do it one more time if you wish. And then we're going to come out of that. We have to probably have a little bit of a counter pose where you bring the forearms beside you, draw the shoulders back, draw your ribs in like you're looking towards your belly to lift the hips up, and have a little counter pose in an elevated child's pose. Hips high. And then we're going to organize ourselves to come onto our back with the blanket now under the back of the head. And so we'll be knees bent, as much or as little under the back of the head as you deem necessary for your ribs to be level with your hips, or your hip bone, pubic bone area to be about level. So not too flat, not too arched. That's an uncommon one. That just right place where there's again a little bit of a gap in the small of the back. The ribs are softened down. And we'll do another little breathing thing here, because this position by Lulu Spyguard was called constructive rest. So for, again, those people with back issues, this could be quite good. You can also play around with how close or far away your feet are. So the further your feet are away, the more the pelvis is going to drop a little bit towards the pubic bone and arch you a little bit. The closer they are, the more it's going to flatten you. So you want to find that happy place where maybe you don't have to force the pelvis into any particular position. That will just be the right one when your feet are the right distance. Then if you have the arms out to the side with the palms facing up, we've got a little breath sequence for the shoulders where you bend the elbows, hands come off the floor, then fingertips find each other, palms join together, and the arms lengthen up towards the ceiling, and the shoulder blades splay away from the spine, elevate from the floor a little bit. Then you bend through prayer position, heel of the hand, aims towards the chest, then the hands peel away from each other, and then arms find the ground and palms up. So you can do this with your breath. I quite like inhaling as my hands reach and find the ceiling, fingertips, and exhaling as I unravel back out to arms wide. But it could be the other way around. See what it feels like for you. So just enjoy resting in this position, connecting with your breath, a gentle shoulder mobilization. Count yourself another 3 or so breaths like this. And when you've done your 3 or so breaths, just let the arms remain outstretched for a couple more breaths. Heart open. See if you can feel that you're breathing not just into the front body, but also into the back body, into the side ribs, that multi-directional breathing. And then we're going to come back to a little bit of core. So the arms are going to relax by your sides again. We're going to take, I'm going to take my right leg out long on the ground. Now for this one, if you have neck issues, two things. You could just lift the leg, draw the belly in, and hold the leg there for a few breaths, and then we'll do 4 times on one side and 4 times on the other side. Now, if we want to add to this, make sure that the bent leg hip hasn't lifted off the floor, is that we lift a little bit our rib cage. And I would say for us, if we want to take care of our necks or make it a little easier for the necks, we could support our head. So we're just dropping the rib cage down a little bit, holding there for a bit. Again, if this doesn't suit, you could keep your head down fully on the ground. And when you've had enough, you lower your leg, lower your upper body. I'm not sure which order, probably your upper body first. And then you're going to do, see if you can do 4 on one side before we change sides. So one leg is outstretched. I've got my right leg. I want to drop the ribs, draw the belly in, float the leg up 2 or 3 inches off the floor, and then slightly hinge from the lower ribs. Your head comes along from for the ride if you wish. If you're finding it adds neck tension, then ditch that. See if you can keep the bent leg hip equally connected to the floor. It'll want to be pulled away by the weight of that straight leg. When you've had enough, rest the leg, rest the upper body, and twice more for me. I don't know how many you've got to go. I'll see if I can see anything on the team there. That's it. So it's a way of preserving the natural curve in your low back by having one leg outstretched. And if you feel it a lot in your thigh, I mean, your thigh must have to work a little bit, see if you can engage that lower abdominal region a little more. So, and what I try to be is kind of floppy in my foot even. You could experiment active or floppy, but you want to be not gripping too much in the hip crease, but more in that low abdominal area. So it's another good one for back here. It's not going to overload your back, but hopefully load your front and work your back in a supportive way. When you've done 4 on one side, then you're going to change sides. To change sides, I would suggest when you're ready, you could slide the straight leg up and then extend the other leg away. I'll demonstrate a couple more and then I'll have a little check on my team. That's it. So no pain in the back, just pain in the front. All right, so ribs down, soften down, float the leg up. See if you can feel that engagement in the low abdominal area, drawing the belly into the body, not sucking it like a vacuum as such, but just that slight inward pressure rather than a pressing out. So drawing in, ribs down, head supported if you wish, or head resting on the floor. It's still going to work that low abdominal area. If you need to rest your head, you could always have the head up on a little bit more high height so that you can really soften those ribs down. That would be another way to be kind to the neck if that's required. Holding for a few breaths. When you're breathing here, you're having to breathe more into the ribs, not letting the abdominal region go when you're holding that load of that long leg. If your neck's all right, you could try some without the support. Breathing into the back ribs. I'll just check the team. So 4 on each side. Looking good there. You could have the leg a little lower if you wanted to, Susie. Up to you, either. All right. And when we've done our 4, I'll see that Susie's knees are up because then she's, oh no, she's, yep, they're evened up, I think. We'll do a little bit of marching to finish. So this is back to both knees bent, feet in parallel. Hip bone, pubic bone about level in relation to the floor, a little bit of a gap. ribs soften down, as much head height as you need for that ribs to be softened down. There's often a compromise, but so long as you've got a little bit of a gap there, then you're going to keep the front of the ribs, the front of the hips absolutely still, the belly from hip bone to hip bone slightly engaged in, and floating one leg up off the ground and down, and then the other side. So no movement through the body. You know, in reality, in walking, there is all sorts of movement, but I think it always has to come from this balanced, strengthened core, and then the movement is much more smooth, much more centered, greater ease. What we're looking for is the organization of the body that's the most energy efficient. If you want to connect with breath, I like to start the exhalation to get that core engagement through the exhalation, lift the leg, try and relax the shoulders. Sometimes I let those arms be out a little bit from the side to not add neck and shoulder into the equation. As you breathe in, breathing into the floor. About 10 each side. Again, the sensation should mostly be that front body, lower abdominal region, floaty as much as you can in the hip socket. Connected through the base of the shoulder blades. And then, just going through the old favorites today. Well, when you're ready, we'll roll onto our side and do a little bit of clam, I think. So this is shift and roll. And so this blanket can either go between your arm and your leg, arm and your head, arm and your leg, that would be interesting, arm and your head, or you can make it a wee bit thicker, so it's thick enough that it can be supporting the distance between the shoulder and the ear, the spine in a nice long line, and the knees just slightly forward, the feet back in line with the hips, the underneath rib a little bit lifted, head back in line with the spine. And if you want, the other hand can be on the floor there. So you can either think of the feet have some contact and the top knee lifts and lowers, or you can do the one that most of us seem to enjoy, where you lift the feet off the ground and then open and close the top leg, keeping that top hip completely stacked above the other one, feeling for the sensation in the buttock. If you would like to awaken your buttock a little sooner than later, you could do a little bit of pulsing at the top of the range just to awaken it before you go through the whole range, and keep those lower ribs a little bit into the body, relax in the neck, and then up, down and up. Some of us like to add in, you could put a band around your legs to make it more, or you can go up, keep that leg turned out and add extension if that doesn't cause you back strain, but buttock strain, that's okay. So you want to be feeling this in the back body, not in the hip crease. Little opening of the hip. And I do find that having my ribs in alignment with my hips, that kind of not flaring forward, that actually helps the sensation all the way down to my knee, feel more connected through my hip. Breathing easy. Obviously, it doesn't require as much core as the things we just did before, but there's a little bit of engagement to keep that body still and stationary. Let's do a few pulses at the top end of this one, where we just go, hello, buttock, good on you. And when we're fatigued, we're going to bring it down. Oh yes, I think I got in. And give it a good little rub, although it's not quite over. I think we will try for a little bit of the leg extension behind. So this is, you can either keep that underneath leg bent or straighten it forward, and the top leg lifts up. You lean forward a little bit with your body, and then you take that leg behind the body, and then just try either maybe some little circles today, or some up and downs if that's all you can manage. So again, not going into your low back, but going into your upper buttock. And again, I think that'll be all right for today. Don't feel like doing too much of it, but just awakening that that's support from the outside of your hip onto the back of your pelvis. And yeah, giving it a nice massage. So if you went to a physical therapist or physio, they would be releasing the tension around the irritation that you have, gentle on the area of irritation, but massaging everywhere in between, or using your roller too on that IT band. That's always a good thing. Yeah. All right. I think that's good. Let's roll over. So if you want to, you can kick that leg up, swing it around, lengthen it away from you, bring yourself up, change sides, or roll over. Yeah, so if you have some tension on the IT band, it's like it's trying to brace, I feel, for the rest of the body. So that would be good to get your roller out and give it a good massage. That may release some of the tension too. That's at the further up. Oh, just like being back in bed on a hard surface. So underneath waist lifted, ribs in, back of the neck long, bring it back. We so easily have that head forward position, feet back in line with your buttocks. Now, feet could be resting on the floor. You can do a few pulses to start, or you can rotate a little bit so that you're on the underneath thigh and up and down. And as I say, if you want to feel like you want to get it awake, you could do a few pulses first before you take it through the range. I do like this position because it gives you an internal rotation in the thigh bone and then an external rotation. So that's a nice one against gravity. This one, I've got one buttock that just seems to have more sensation. And seeing if you can go for the range that you, maximum range you can have. Oh, we forgot to add the leg thing, without leaning back. See how far you can open it in an active way. And a few pulses to finish on this side if you wish. You're in the comfort of your own lounge. You can do whatever you like. All right, little intermediary rub. And then we've got the straight leg one to work the glute medius muscle that runs from the outside of your thigh to the back of the pelvis. It's to do with extension and walking. And again, for that low back area where you have a little bit of tension there at the moment, if you can strengthen this area, awaken it to support your low back, it's good. Feel free to lean forward a little bit, ribs in. Take care it's not going into your back, but just into your upper buttock. Very neglected, I think, upper buttocks. All right. Okay, little circles maybe. Oh, yeah. So the fact that everyone's doing this is a great thing because some people don't have enough strength to hold their leg in the side lying position with their leg behind. So well done, everyone. And then, and again, just a little massage there. See if there's any tension in the outside of the leg. What a good little massage. And we'll go on to our bridging, and we'll just do our regular bridging where we're on our backs, going up. If you wanted to do a little bit of heel lifts when you're up in a bridge, just to wake one buttock up and then the other, you could, or stepping. Otherwise, I'm just going to demonstrate going up in unison. For this, unless you have a very head forward position or a very deep rib cage, and that your head's hanging back a long way, for most of us, maybe nothing under the head. But if you feel like you need a little bit under the head, that's totally fine. It's just you don't want your head cranked forward on the body. And so from that position, finding this one, normally the feet are a little bit closer to give you a little bit more push. And you can think about the buttocks engaging, pressing into the heels, hips lift up. When you get to the top, you can think of lengthening out through the front of the hip crease, stretching through to the fronts of your knees, like my friend Jean would say, as if your knees were to press two doorbells, and then just softening down that hip crease, spine in axial length. So not curling or rolling one vertebra at a time, thinking about going up everything all together, but long, long all together. And again, lengthening from the base of the shoulders out through the sit bones, long through the spine. Do you land evenly, or does one hip come down a little before the other? See what you can do to create unity. Connect with your breath. It could be either way, just like the cat-cow. It could be inhale or exhale to come up. Easy through the neck. Still preserving, again, the natural curve of the neck, the natural curve of the lumbar. And if you want to do one to lengthen out your upper back, you could take one where you take the arms either directly overhead as you come up or out to the sides, palms up. And then lengthen. You could roll vertebra by vertebra through your upper back to get a little bit more thoracic length, and then soften the pelvis back down. A little bit of Klein clock today. So this is kind of a twisty one, but it's mostly for the shoulders. I like to have a little bit under the back on the side of the neck. The head will hang. This is one where you need a bit of room around you, where you actually lie on your side with your palms, one palm over the other. And then what happens is the top hand is going to draw a chalk circle along the ground. When the hand gets to above by your ear, the palm is going to turn up. The top side leg is going to lift a little bit. Your body is going to roll back so that you can keep drawing the circle with your fingernails, back of your fingernails behind you, which I'm sorry, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm on the floor behind me. Maybe I'll do one backing you. And then it finds your body and the palm turns back down and you go like so. So I'll show you one, and you can do both directions. You can go down first or up first. We'll probably just do sort of 2 or 3 on each side. I'll show you a back view, which you won't be able to hear me because I'm going to turn away from the thing, but you'll see the back view, which is when the hand gets there. See, I let my body release enough onto the floor so I can keep drawing a circle with my fingertips on the ground. When my hand finds the body, it brushes lovingly over my body and then finds the floor and then the other hand. So it's a very slow circling of the shoulder area, but you allow your body to release enough back so that you can keep circling that shoulder without straining your shoulder. Klein clock from Anna Klein. And it's probably do, you know, a couple in one direction, a couple in the other direction, and then roll onto the other side and do starting from the lying on the other side. So you stay on the one side for 3 or 4 cycles. And it's just giving you a nice stretch through your upper back, and it shouldn't be any load on your low back at all, because you're letting your body release as much as you need to turn around to the other side. Some of you will remember this. I used to do this for years, and then it fell out of my repertoire. That's it. So just making, if your hand needs to skip a section because of your shoulder or something, that's fine. Make it your own. I'm gonna do one more. Like doing my left shoulder. I might have to join you for one more on my left shoulder. It's the one that has little memories from the past of this location. And you can make this the height under your head a little higher. You just don't want to fall off your height, so it needs to be there as you lean back. So I let the one leg stay on the ground there, Carol. The underneath leg stays on the ground, and just the top leg lifts away. I mean, it can lift a little bit. Both of them can lift. That's fine. But one fans away from the other. I think it's easier. So yeah, if you need to lift both, that's fine too. Sorry, I didn't mean to restrict you. Making it as organic and enjoyable as you can. But yeah, if both legs need to lift from the floor, that's fine. But I normally fan one open first and then the other. That's it. Lovely. When you're evened up, we're going to come around. I think we might do as we did last week before we come up, maybe spread our blanket and do a little hip flexor stretch. So stretching the front of the hip, perhaps from the kneeling position. So this is this one where if you need a little softness under your knees, you can. You have the other side. Have one leg up, one leg down. You don't need my head. This is the one where you tuck the pelvis under a little bit, keep the ribs into the body, either stay there with your balance. If you need to, you can lean forward a little bit, or you can just stay upright. And if it feels useful, you can take the same arm as the leg that's getting the stretch up. Well, that's it, Juliet. And that's it. So you've got tucking the pelvis under, bringing the ribs into the body. That's it. And then if you want that leg that's being stretched, you can take the arm up or not. And the other hand could rest on your thigh if you want for balance. And breathe. All right. And then we'll change around to the other side if we haven't. Tucking under, lengthening the spine, keeping the ribs. So the back waist should be, lengthened. It doesn't have to be completely flat, but it doesn't want to be super arched. And again, you could either rest there, lean forward a little bit if that helps. And if you wish, the same arm as the leg that's being stretched. Right, and then from here, to get up, if you need to have something to hold on to get up, otherwise see if you can tuck the toes under of the back foot, press through both feet, and up we come, and I'll move part. So let's just do a little bit of footwork, not too much, where you go up on both feet, take one foot off, lower the heel, put the other foot down, and we won't do too many, just a little bit of a wake up, maybe just 4 or so each side and down. And if it's hard, don't go too high. Up on both, down on one more on this foot, up on 2, down on 1. Then we're going to change feet, up on 2, take the other foot off, down on 1, up on 2, down on 1, and twice more. Then we're going to do the bent leg version now. So if you've changed walls there for balance, you can do that other foot you just did there as first, Julie, you can stay where you are. This is one where you bend both knees. Then nothing changes with your knees, but you lift your heels, so you're coming up with bent legs. Then you take your weight onto one foot, take the other foot off, lower the heel, put the other foot down. And again, we're just going to do 4 on each side, up on 2, down on 1. Keeping the knees bent, working the soleus, the soleus, I'm not quite sure of the emphasis there. And then we're going to change sides. When you've done 4 on one side, up on 2, that's it. And down on 1, just wake those feet up. Right. Good, I can't remember. I'll do one more for good measure. So normally, if you had time, you would do reps of 15, but I feel like sometimes you're off for a walk or we've done all this organization and then you're going to walk off and do your things, just waking them up is good. Let's do this one where you have left foot forward, right foot back. And again, if the extension of the legs being wide apart is in any way intrusive of your low back, have a shorter position. Just find the place. So from here, we're just going to do the one where you lunge a little bit, arms come forward, and inhale, bring the arms back, and straighten the front leg, and exhale forward, and inhale back, twice more. Then we're going to stay in the lunge, long through the spine, ribs into the body. From here, you can let that back foot turn out a wee bit, and you're going to keep your left leg pointing straight forward, and then you're going to open your body out to the right, and then back towards me. So you're opening away from that leading leg, and just opening the hips a wee bit. And as much or as little feels all right. I'm going to change my view. Then keep that arm out. Draw up through the pelvis. Left palm turning up, and you're just going to lean a little bit out to the left. And then come back up. And again. So long as your back is happy about it. Twice more. Keep that left knee turned out. All right. And then we'll face forward, step up. Hopefully a little bit of length on that side. Then the right leg forward, the left leg back. Little calf stretch here. Arms gently swing back. ribs stacked above the pelvis, head above heart, heart above pelvis. Exhale forward. Inhale up. This time staying in the lunge, keeping that right knee where it is. Let the left foot turn out a little bit perhaps, so that as you open your left arm out to the left, the hips can open a little bit and then come back to the front. 3 more times. This time staying open, and we're going to turn right palm up and lengthening out to the right over that bent leg and coming back up if this feels all right on your back. So it's like a little bit like a side plank, leaning out, hips can tip a little bit. Up and down a few times. Hopefully you feel it in your buttock. Last time. All right, and then we'll come to standing, last thing. So a standing spinal twist, we've done this lots of times. So if you wanted to isolate your rib cage, you would keep your pelvis still. If it feels more harmonious to let the whole body twist in each direction, you choose. So bringing your right arm up, taking it diagonally across the body, then drawing the right elbow back behind you and opening it out. And let's do that another 3 times. If you like going with the breath, inhalation and exhalation through each phase. We've done it 4 or so on one side, we'll go to the other. On this other side, left arm up, again, a little spiral. Taking in your visual space, ahead, beside, behind, opening up awareness, multi-directional. Okay, so then we're going to, when you're finished that, we're going to come into a nice lying relaxation. If you need to, a little roll into the back of the knees. When we're in relaxation, just before we go into the meditative section, if you want to, you could do that one that we do where you take the grip around the back of the neck and turn the head a little bit as you slide your fingers across that area. So just doing a little bit of self-massage for the neck area when you're lying down. You can do this lying down if you like. Oh, yeah, that's it. And like I said just before, if you want to give yourself a little palpate, either bringing the hand across the shoulders and digging the fingers into anywhere that you're holding tension around from your neck to your shoulder, then please do so. Asking for ease, top of the spine, skull relationship. And taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, maybe blowing out through the mouth, sighing if you wish, Nobody can hear. Letting go of any rush or busyness of the week. And do two more breaths like that, where you have a slow, full breath in through the nose and a relaxing sigh or breath out through the mouth. Facial muscles soft and at ease. And today's meditation is again from Breathwalk by Gurucharan, Singh, Khalsa, and Yogi Bhajan. It's going to be a visualization of light walking through the body. And it's something you could actually take out into a regular walk. And I can send you the information on email. But initially, a little scanning of the body, eyes resting in the eye sockets. And imagining how the optic nerves cross from the back of the eyes and then back into the brain. And at the point where they cross is this chakra point for Ajna chakra, to do with intuition, imagination, inner knowing and seeing. The color indigo. Awareness of eyes, opening out into an awareness of the inner canals of the ears. From the ears, awareness flowing into an awareness of sensations in the nostrils, left and right, both together. Awareness of the mouth, jaw, tongue, teeth, relaxed and at ease. And so I'm going to walk us through the walking the breath meditation. And you can imagine that as you're breathing in light. And it could be a color too, if you wish, like a fountain or stream of light. The first visualization is to inhale in through the top of the head into the body. And then as you breathe out, imagine that breath like a rain of lights comes out from the mid-brow area and rains off the tip of the nose. The next pathway is imagine breathing up through the left fingertips, up the left arm into the heart center. And as you breathe out, imagine breathing out, back down the left arm and out through the fingertips. Then swapping over to breathing in through the right fingertips, up the right arm into the heart center, breathing back out, down the right shoulder, right arm, and light streaming out through the right fingertips. Taking your awareness down to the left foot, breathing in up the left foot, left leg, and up into the navel area. And as you breathe out, stream of light goes from the navel area down the left leg and out through the sole of the left foot and toes. Shifting your focus over to the right foot, breathing in up the right leg, through the right hip socket into the navel area, and breathing out light back down from the navel area, down the right leg, out through the sole and toes of the right foot. Now this time, imagining that light coming up through both feet, up both legs, and combining and dancing together up through to the heart region of the body. And as you breathe out, breathing out from the heart, projecting out into the world. So up both legs, dancing together in the body and out through the heart. This time, visualize breathing in up both arms that join at the heart and travel up to the spine, up the spine, out through the crown of the head, out into the universe. And then imagining that you're breathing in through the crown of the head from the space around you, light traveling in and permeating every cell of the body until you are light overflowing. And as you breathe out, light radiating light beams in all directions, like we're all suns or stars. So breathing in through the crown of the head, filling with light, radiating light in all directions as we breathe out. Then focusing on the brow point or that interior point where the optic nerves cross, and just focus on that area for a few moments, maybe a minute. And in this dark space behind the forehead, if you wished to imagine writing a word or an affirmation that supports your heartfelt direction in life, you could do that. A lens you might want to see the world through. And then taking one more deep breath and like a cannon blowing out through the mouth of light. One more breath like so. And just letting yourself return to this moment. When you're ready, so you can stretch your arms overhead and stretch back into the body. And as you're ready, coming around. Namaste.